Hey guys, Walt D 1911 here. I want to give you a quick review of some gun belts that I've been using over the last couple years, and I want to show you the pros and cons of the various belts that I've been using, and this way you can make a decision if you're in the market for a gun belt. If you carry a firearm, I highly suggest that you use a good gun belt, because it'll give you the support you need to hold up the weight of that firearm. Alright, so let's get started. When I first got my CCW permit from the state of Arizona about 5 years ago, and bought a few holsters, I was using a plain old department store type belt. And I found very quickly that that wasn't enough to support the weight of the firearm or anything else that was on my belt, including a cell phone, an extra magazine, a flashlight, keys, or whatever else that you may carry on your belt. So this particular belt is typical of what I was using from a local department store. And it's a black leather belt, made here in the USA. It's genuine cowhide, made by Task Force. But it's your typical type everyday dress belt. You'll notice as I put this together, and if I hold it up, this is what I got. It's going to bend, it's going to twist. I could easily crush this with my fingers sideways. Alright, so it's not the ideal belt for carrying a firearm or any other type of equipment you might have on your belt. So like I said, I found out very quickly that this belt is not going to support a firearm. So the first thing I did is I went on the line and I started shopping around for different types of belts. The decision I made was with a company called The Belt Man out of North Carolina, who produces some high quality gun belts. Those belts are not cheap. I purchased this about 4 years ago. This is 1.5 inches, very thick, as you could see, horsehide belt, top of the line belt. The color is chestnut. I believe they call it the chestnut color. Very strong belt. You can do this with it. Again, like I showed you on that dress belt, that's not going to support anything. This, on the other hand, will support just about anything you could put on it, including your firearm. Even if it's a 1911, 41, 42 ounce firearm, this is going to do the trick in supporting that gun on your waist. Very nice. You can see it's very nicely made. The inside is finished nice. It's double stitched. And it's 2 layers of horsehide stitched together. The buckle is supported by Chicago screws. The only thing you got to watch with the Chicago screws is that they will back out on you, and you could possibly lose one of those 2 components of that. So the way I combated that is I just took a little bit of blue Loctite, put it on the threads, gave it a good crank down with the screwdriver, and I don't think I've touched these in about 2 or 3 years. So that's going to hold fast. The only complaint I have with this belt is that after about 2 weeks of wearing this belt on a daily basis, the black finish, the black polished finish that's on the top and on the bottom of the belt completely and utterly wore off, as you can see. Alright, I was extremely disappointed with that. That black finish, that polished finish, 2 weeks it was gone. So This belt was about $90, and it was just a little bit over $100 with the shipping. So, as you could imagine, I was really, really disappointed that a belt that's so expensive within 2 weeks would wear completely out where your holes are. And I believe it's from the friction as you cinch the belt. That friction is what wore that off, because the rest of the belt is fine. Even with wearing a holster and a cell phone and a flashlight and a magazine carrier and everything else, the rest of the belt is fine. Except where that cinch point is, where the buckle rubs. So, I know they have roller buckles out there, which is basically a squared off buckle with a metal insert, and when you cinch it, the belt actually rolls, and I believe it would take the pressure off the edge of the belt. But you think if you're paying that kind of money, the manufacturer would have came up with that idea, so you don't have this horror show right here. I purchased a second belt just about within the same period of time, maybe about a week after I purchased this. I said, you know what, I need an everyday belt. One that I could use as a gun belt, but one that I could use as an everyday belt for work or the weekends or whatever. And I still wanted to be able to carry a firearm using that belt. So I actually went back to the belt man and I purchased this black bullhide belt, and this happens to be an 1.25 inches. So it's more of a dressy looking belt as opposed to the 1.5 inch belt here. But again, the only complaint I have, after a couple weeks, I got the same wear marks on the black belt as I do on the tan one. So again, the same type of buckle, Chicago screws, double stitched in the back, but very thick belt. As a matter of fact, some of the cell phone holsters, like for my iPhone, the belt holster does not even fit on top of this belt because it's so thick. So I actually have to put that into my waistband and bypass the belt completely so it doesn't fall off my belt. Overall, these are great belts. They really are. And I've been wearing this black one every day for about 3.5 years. So, all right, the only thing I have is that little wear over here, but the rest of the belt, again, sturdy as a rock. You can't do that with just any belt. One drawback I forgot to mention real quick on the horsehide. It is very squeaky. Even as you're walking, you're going to get that squeak. So just keep that in mind if you're going to buy horsehide. Now, horsehide is supposed to be more durable and stronger than bullhide. I found them both to be excellent belts as far as being sturdy. Difference with the bullhide belt, you have no squeak. All right, overall, these two belts from the Belt Man, good quality. They'll probably last, I don't know how many years. I'll probably never have to replace these belts. So, other than the fact that they did wear out where the belt buckle is, they're great belts. Really great belts. Now, last year I purchased a third belt from Comp-Tac. Again, another gun belt. You've seen it in my previous videos. Yeah, I guess it was about 1.5 years, I guess, maybe. And this is it right here. This is the Minotaur holster belt by Comp-Tac. And this belt is a tapered belt. So where the buckle is and where your holes are here is 1.25 inches. However, as you get to about your 230 point on your hip, it starts to taper to 1.5 inches. Very sturdy belt. Again, you could just hold it up like that, top and bottom. This belt is rock solid. It's 2 layers of bull hide, plus it has an internal strip of kydex, reinforced with the kydex strip, and it's stitched right through the middle. Really, really nice belt. What I like about this belt is that the edges are not the high polish like you have on the Beltman belts, where they have the tendency to wear out. This is finished almost in a suede. I don't know if you'll be able to tell that on the camera. But it doesn't matter how much you cinch this belt or pull it through the buckle, it's not going to wear on that suede edging. So that was a really, really smart thing, I think, that Comp-Tac did when they designed this belt. So you're never going to have that wear mark. It's all going to look even all the way around all the time. The other thing I like about this belt, there's 3 Chicago screws holding the buckle on. Not 2, but 3. It's also got double keeper, as opposed to just a single keeper on the Beltman belt. Now, this belt is also tapered for your hips already. It's already shaped for around your hips. So this belt only gets worn one way. The way that it contours right around your hips. And the way that you could start to see that it's got a little bit of an angle to it over here, and that's where the contour starts to fit. I don't know if you'll be able to see how it's contoured. I mean, I'm looking at it, you know, from my point of view here, and I could definitely see it. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on the camera at all, but it's got a slight curvature to it, which made it very comfortable. And there was very little break-in period. These 2 belts, you had to break them in just a little bit. You know, they have to shape to your hips. This is already halfway there for you, so it was a very, very comfortable belt. Now, I'm going to start wearing this on a daily basis. I only wear this maybe a couple times a month, or when I was in a state where my CCW permit was valid, and I would wear this belt too. Just to, you know, with a holster, whether it was inside the waistband or outside. So now I'm going to start wearing this belt on a daily basis, and I'm going to compare it to these 2 from the Beltman. In a couple months, I'll make an update video. I'll let you know. All right, the difference in these belts too. This belt was $70. It's not cheap, but it was about $30 less expensive than the horsehide. And it was about, I want to say about $5 or $6 cheaper than this 1.25 inch Beltman belt. So I do like the tapered part, because if you're just wearing a jacket, it looks more like a dress belt, because it's 1.25 inches in the front, and then it would taper up on the sides and in the back, where your jacket or your shirt or whatever would be covering it anyway. So it doesn't have that big, thick-looking gun belt look to it from the front. So, excellent belts. All 3 of them excellent belts. But I'm gonna put this one to the test starting this weekend, and I'll get back to you and let you know how this one fares in comparison to these 2. I'll put the links below the video for you if you're interested. You could check out the website for the Beltman and for Comp-Tac. and you know, see how it goes. But if you're wearing one of these belts and trying to carry a firearm, you're probably going to struggle. So spend an extra few bucks. Look for a good gun belt, and there's plenty of manufacturers out there. Every major holster manufacturer, Galco, DeSantis, they all make their own type gun belts. Plus there's other numerous belts out there. You know, the tactical instructor belts are very big these days, but they look exactly like that. They're tactical looking. If you're looking for, you know, a belt that's a dress belt that you can wear on an everyday basis, you know, you might want to check out Comp-Tac and the Belt Man. But like I said, I'll get back to you on the on how this one works out. This is the Minotaur holster belt from Comp-Tac. These two are from the Belt Man out of North Carolina. Alright folks, well in my next video I'm going to go over some of the holsters that I use when I do carry a firearm. And I'll give you my opinion on those too. And the ones that I'm going to show you are the ones that I would normally wear, so I already really like them. But that's going to be a whole other video on that. Alright? Well, listen, if you have any questions or any concerns, or if there's anything I can help you with as far as these belts go, just shoot me a comment on the video or shoot me a PM, and I'll be more than happy to help you out. Alright, I hope this video was helpful to you. I hope it was somebody learned something out there maybe. And I'll talk to you all soon. Take care.